Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. So let's get started understanding the DevOps. What is DevOps? Why we are learning DevOps? What are the things we are trying to do as part of DevOps? So if you want to understand the DevOps, we have to go and set the context from the history, okay, from the past. So what we were doing in the past that will, help you to set the pattern for the future also. Even after the DevOps, if something is coming up, that will help you with it. So if you remember that uh, in 1990s, I don't know how many from old schools, maybe some of you from the freshers as well. So earlier, where we were running applications, still we are using laptop, but I'm talking about when in terms of application running for the end user, not for you. End user means, let's say you are an end user for amazon.com, you are the end user for Google, Facebook, LinkedIn and all. So I'm talking about in that way, not like as a software engineer. So where we were running applications in 1990s, so we were running in the desktop. How much time it used to take a setup? Let's say if you want to set up from scratch, getting a hardware, then operating system, then prerequisite, and then software, probably one day. How we were consuming? Console based means you will access the desktop directly. How you used to deliver the software? So CDs and some of the software, if you want to name it, for example, MS Office, it's one of the popular software which you have used, desktop based. Another software, I don't know how many of you have used, Photoshop, very popular software, is there since it is actually from Adobe. So yeah, you're delivering the software in the CDs, and these companies like Adobe and Microsoft, they used to do the release once in a year. So 2013, 2014, 2016, like that, they will make a release. And if you ask software engineers from those projects, and you will ask two questions, hey, what are the architecture you were following for the software? So most of them, they will tell, a waterfall model, and sorry, a monolithic architecture, and then a software development lifecycle model which you follow, waterfall model. So that is something which we were doing. Are you able to correlate that, all of you? Any questions, any doubts? Hello. um, keep Yeah, keep yourself engaged, guys, all of you. It's very important because
No
we all are
questions. Yeah.
yeah, we are connected through the internet, so we have to keep talking just like we are doing in the classroom. Okay, so that is a something. Monal, if any, again, if you have some doubts or question, you can unmute yourself and feel free to ask anytime. So that way it will be helpful for me also. Okay, so monolithic means everything, all the features are combined together. And waterfall model, I think most of you, having some idea, used to take at least 6 months or 1 year. Before waterfall model, we had a some few models also. I don't know how many of you heard about it. Network model, hierarchical model, and all. And those models, using that, we used to develop a software in 5 years and 6 years actually. Software engineering has not come recently; it's there from last 1970s actually. Earlier, USA security governments, they were using it and developing a software and all. So just imagine, to develop one software it used to take 5 years actually. And so we got the waterfall model, and then that reduced the release cycle. Okay, so that was the 1990s legacy. What we started doing in 2000, let's understand. But if you look at the characteristics of waterfall model, why it used to take 1 year? Because in the waterfall model, first we log the requirement, then we start a design, then implementation, and then verification, and then maintenance. So this is something we do that, and because we do the in a sequence, once we complete one, then move on to second, then third and fourth and something like that. Because of that, is to take lots of time. And in waterfall model, we used to develop all the features and in one go only. All the features we used to test it one go only. Now the question is, okay, earlier we were having the software developed in 5 years. So why we chose waterfall model? That is a question. Why we chose? Because what are the drawbacks which we had in earlier model of software development? So basically, what is used to happen? We wanted to uh, focus on the quality release of the software. And let's say if you develop 1 year, and after 1 year you'll get to know the quality is not good as per the defined standard, then it's a disaster, right? You'll have to redo the stuff once again. Sorry. So we were migrating again from the older model to the new waterfall model because of immediate release, 5 years versus 1 year, you can think of, and also cost reduction in development and runtime. That means we wanted to reduce the cost for software development and runtime, so we opted for waterfall model. Okay, that is the one of the reason. So far so clear. Any questions? Are you understanding this pattern?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
nothing great actually. We know that actually all this thing is just I'm reminding you. Most of us we are knowing it. And then suddenly 1990s, after that we got the internet. In India we got internet little late, but in USA and other countries they got the internet. Okay. So when we got the internet, then there is one trend which started happening, and that is we started getting the applications running on the browser. See, earlier console, now browser, internet, because we have to access through browser, and in that case you don't run the software in your machine, in your desktop, you run in the some data centers, right? So then what you started using it in 2000 onwards, so you migrated from the desktop to virtual servers, virtual machines, and I'm assuming some of you know virtual machines. If not, no. Still, we are using VMware, VirtualBox, AWS virtual machine, Azure, Google Cloud. All these are virtual machines. Okay. So in 2000 onwards, we started using virtual machines. Why? Then why we started using the virtual machines? Reasons are very simple. In a data center, we don't want it to run physical servers because of running cost was too high, maintaining cost was too high. Virtual machines is comparatively lesser, cheaper and all, better, faster and all. So desktop you will set up one day in one day. Virtual machines you can set up in 5 minutes. So there's very obvious reasons for that. And then we started using application on the browser, delivering through software through the download and stuff like that. And we started we reduce the release cycle from 1 year to 2 weeks. So am I saying is like, okay, did we started doing all this 1 year of work in 2 weeks? Not exactly. What we did, we changed the uh, model itself, agile model. Okay. So in agile model, what we do, uh, instead of defining the whole task for 1 year and then doing development and testing and then production operations, instead of doing that, what we decided in agile model, we'll convert into smaller chunk of work, and then we develop, test and then deliver, then we go to the smaller chunk. Correct now, all of you?
Yes.
Hello. And then duration for that chunk is a, we call it a sprint or something like that if you want to, 2 weeks. And the architecture of the software also changed. So earlier we had all the software, all the functionality, bundled it together, just like a Microsoft Office for desktop. But in a when we started offering on the browser, then we introduced web server, app server, database server. Can you please tell me some of the web servers which you know, all of you?
Apache, WebLogic.
Yeah. So Apache and Nginx is a web server, app server.
Yeah. App Store, like Tomcat is an app server.
Tomcat, yeah. JBoss, WebLogic, WebSphere. You know, these are the web server, app server. Sorry. So this is called SOA architecture, service oriented architecture. That means we migrated from monolithic to service based. Okay, so this is also I'm believing most of us are comfortable. Now you'll ask Rajesh why we migrated to waterfall to agile. Reason is very simple. Same reason, same reason. No change in the objective. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, so far.
Now, those who have no knowledge on agile, I would request you to just do some offline, study. But this is a simple picture for it. There's so many models we have in agile like Scrum, Kanban, XP, and many more. Okay, so at a high level, you understand. No need to deep dive into that too much of it. I remember that when I started my career, uh, 18, 20 years before, 18 years before, uh, they after second company, I guess they put me in agile training. Just like right now, you guys are doing DevOps training. We had agile training at that time. In school, I mean, college days, we learned waterfall model. When we join the office, then we learn agile model. Now I'm teaching you DevOps model. So this is the transition. So this is the one. The region is very more or less same. Quality release. In waterfall model, we had some issues. So we wanted to improve the quality, and then from 1 year release to the 2 weeks we got it, and cost reduction in development and runtime. Same region. And now let's talk about the current era. So how you are using application nowadays. So just think about it. Let's say you are not a software engineer. Would you come to desktop and use this? No. And users are using most of his, we go anywhere. They have a gadgets. They have a mobile. Few of them is having iPad also. So yeah, we have a mobile. We are having applications, and we are connected with each other. We all are connected with each other. Means what I'm trying to say here is, see, there is one LinkedIn. I'm using the same LinkedIn which you guys are using. I'm using the same Facebook which you are using. I'm using the same HDFC Bank what you are using. So there's a one software, okay, and we all are connected to that software. Correct now, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah. So now the problem is again quality, cost, and speed. Uh, what do you want? Again, same objective. If you ask any organization and talk to CTO, and if you ask them what is your objective, they'll say, hey, we want to focus on the quality. Is there from last 20 years. Context is changing again. We want to focus on the immediate release. I'll give you immediate release in this context today. For example, morning. This is just yesterday's event actually. In fact, I was at airport, Bengaluru airport, and for some reason Uber was not responding, or some application was hanging actually. Hanging means it was dancing here and there, and I tried to close and open within a second, and it was not opening, and some issues were there. Immediately I got to Ola and then booked the ticket, I mean cab, and then for the home. So this has happened. So here immediate release means, just think about it. If your Facebook has a problem, You want that to be fixed immediately. HDFC has a problem or UPI has a problem. You don't want to wait for it. You're not a loyal customer for the Uber or Ola or HDFC Bank or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever it is. You will immediately change WhatsApp versus there is one more. I always forget that name. What is that? I forgot that. Telegram. Yeah. So immediate release, we want it, and same time we are not paying for any of the services. Again, same thing, cost reduction in dev and runtime, because the company, those who are running their software, they will get benefit only if you are clicking on their ads, or maybe you are buying some subscribed services or something like that. Correct, now, all of you? Hello.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So the problem which we have when we are all are connected together, only one version of software we are using. Let me tell you in this way. If you remember, if you're from the old school, you used to buy MS Office, though I never bought it because you know how, how we get things in India. But yeah, one game which I bought it, Age of Empire. So let's say if I buy a software, I'm the owner of it. Buy the software means CDs and all. I'll be the owner of it. Millions of people will buy the software. They'll be owner of it. And if out of million, let's say 1,000 people have some problem in the Age Empire or MS Office or Photoshop, Microsoft will say, hey, out of million people, only 1,000 people have issues. Let's fix the bug. Not now, maybe after 6 months. And that is called waterfall model. Now, think about it. You are using Ola. All of you are using Ola. If Ola has issues, if Ola is saying, hey, can come back to us after 1 week, would you come back ever to that application? Tell me, all of you. So that's a
No.
challenge which we have actually. That some of the trends right now in this year, we have one version of software. We are connecting through the devices, apps, and all. Everyone is connected together, and the expectations are 24/7 up and running with a no downtime. So that is something what has happened. So now, so the question is, earlier we were running application on the desktop, then virtual servers. Then where would you run application in this year? I mean, 2020 is onwards, correct? Where would you run applications? So now we started running application in a container. Then we'll say, Rajesh, I don't know the containers. Maybe some of you may not be knowing the virtual servers also. I'll teach you, but I'll teach you containers also. Docker. How much time it takes to run application in container? Yes, you read it correctly. See that how much time we are saving from last 20-30 years, how much we have transformed. 1 second. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
So you want to set up thousands of applications. How much time it required? 1 second. Then you'll say, Rajesh, how can it be done? Then I'll say you need to learn container and Kubernetes. I mean Docker and Kubernetes. That I'll teach you. We started application consuming through the apps, which we know that we are having store, Microsoft Store or Google Store for downloading, installing application directly in your devices. And now release cycle need to be reduced 1 hour. This is a hypothetical. I mean, just trying to make you understand. We have to reduce the release cycle 1 hour. So you will say, Rajesh, how come that is possible? It's not possible. In our software project, I'm working from last 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. We are doing development in 2 to 3 days. We are testing in 2 days, deploying in 1 day. This, that, and a hell lot of things. So you are saying everything should be done in 1 hour. How come it's possible? That is where you have to change the architecture also. SOA will not work for 1 hour for sure. I know that it will take for 2 weeks at least. But if you change the architecture into the microservices, then 1 hour is possible. What is microservices? Anyone have idea? Anyone?
I think microservices is breaking of each and every functionality of an application.
Yeah, I'll put it in a very odd way. Okay, when microservices itself is a big topic and course, but very simple way, just to get you the context here in a right way. This is your software. Okay, how many features you have in this? One features, two, three, all these features you have. Okay, so these are the features you have. Now how many teams you are working together? Let's say 20 team. What is the release cycle? You have 2 weeks. How much build time you have? Let's say 4 hours build time. These are the at high level characteristics. So what is microservices? So in a microservices, what we do, we keep this service separate, this one separate, this one separate, this one separate, like that. This one separate. Hundreds of microservices you will have, depends on the each microservices will represent one function, one feature. Okay, how many millions of lines of code? So let's say 1 million lines of code you have. Okay, so now if you convert into multiple microservices, how many people needed to what is a line of code? 5,000 lines of code, only 5,000. How many teams required to maintain, develop, test, and ops? How many teams required? Only one or two at max. See, you're a software engineer. Okay, don't think DevOps very specifically. You're a software engineer. Can't you manage only 5,000 lines of code and only four function CRUD, create, read, update, and delete? Development, testing, operationals. How much build time it is taking? Hardly 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You change the code in 20 minutes. Build 2 minutes. Test 2 minutes. Deploy 2 minutes. I mean, just I'm giving you idea. Is it possible or not? All of you?
It is possible.
Hello? Yeah. So this is possible if you change the architecture and all stuff like that. So so the question is, what do we call this one? This approach. The approach which will help us to practice microservices, containers, and all stuff like that. What do we call it? So then people have started calling this new concept, which is called DevOps concept. Okay, I'll explain it to you. DevOps. It's not a definition. I'm just trying to put the context. Initially, we had waterfall, then agile, now DevOps. So DevOps concept is one of the concept. Why? Reason is very simple: quality improvement, reduction in what to say, uh, cost for development and running, and speed. You want to reduce the release cycle 1 hour from 2 weeks. So that model which we are calling is DevOps model. I'll go and define little bit more in detail, so you'll understand more better way, and so on. So guys, are you understanding the context in which we are transforming after this?
Yes.
So what is DevOps? Still I have not answered that question. We need to understand this question. So in order to understand DevOps, you need to understand many things: container, microservices, DevOps, CI, CD, SRE, DevSecOps, and many more. Okay, so any questions so far, all of you?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.